Hey everyone, thanks for watching. So the day has finally come. It was a long wait, but totally worth it. The Mavic 2 Pro is here. And I'm gonna have a lot of fun over the next 2 or 12 months showing you everything that I can about it. Now, for those of you who have been with this channel for a while, you know that I like to approach things from a beginner's perspective. I've only been flying for about 1.5 years, and so compared to a lot of other people, I still consider myself somewhat of a beginner. And I like to document my experiences of doing something for the very first time so you guys can see what to expect as you begin to fly yours. In this, my very first video about the Mavic 2 Pro, I'm going to approach it no differently. I will be speaking to those of you who are just like I was less than 2 years ago. The Mavic 2 Pro is probably your very first real drone, and you want to know what to expect. That's who this video is for. So today I'm going to cover 7 real basic things. I'm going to do a quick unboxing. I'll go over the exterior of the drone and the controller to show you what everything is. I'm going to demonstrate how to charge everything up, and I'm going to show you what the DJI Go4 app is and how to get your Mavic 2 connected to your mobile device. I'll show you guys how to upgrade your firmware. I'll show you how to launch and fly your beautiful new machine. And finally, I'll talk about one of the most important aspects of getting a quadcopter: the mental anguish that you may experience the first time you launch. Now, for the rest of you who aren't beginners, don't worry. There's going to be many videos to come on my channel on this amazing machine, ranging from comparisons to the Mavic Pro and the Mavic Air to different tutorials with lots of trials and tribulations. So if you want to join me in this journey, consider subscribing and clicking the bell as we explore this amazing combination of art and technology together. All right, so first thing, really quickly, we're gonna go ahead and unbox this thing. Now, I'm not a big unboxing guy. I find it a little bit boring and kind of anticlimactic, but I know that a lot of people like to see what's in the box when you open it. So I'm gonna do that now, but I'm gonna do it really fast, so don't blink. Oh, by the way, I like to use a butter knife when I open any of my packages. I watch some of these guys do unboxings and they use like a construction tool or like a machete. So I either use a butter knife or a plastic butter knife to open all of my package. Just a little tip for you guys. So here we go. There it is, the drone, the controller, the cables, adapters, power brick, cord for the power brick, propellers, extra propellers, instruction. Okay, so there you have it. There's the unboxing. Like I said, it was really quick. What I'm gonna do right now is we're gonna go over the exterior of the Mavic 2 Pro. I'm gonna show you what everything is on this so you guys are familiar with all of the exterior features as well as the controller, and then we'll get into the other fun stuff. So here we go. So like I said, it was quick. I hope you didn't miss it. So let's take a closer look at the exterior of the Mavic 2 Pro. As you may already know, this is a foldable drone. The back arms swing under and the front arms swing in. It makes for easy transport and storage. It really is the future of all drones, I believe. So let's cover the drone real quick. We're gonna start at the top. This is your battery, and to remove it, you simply squeeze the sides and lift off. Now, as I have the battery off here, I'm gonna remind you guys that when you get your drone, you're gonna have to register it with the FAA, at least if you live in the United States. I'm gonna put a link down in the description that'll take you where you need to go. But once you get that done, you're gonna get a registration number, and you can stick that number right here under the battery compartment. Make sure you do that, because if your drone ever crashes or anything ever happens and they find out whose it is, there's a huge fine. So $5 is totally worth it. Now, also on the top of the Mavic 2 at the back here is the upwards obstacle avoidance sensor. Now, this was on my wish list for the Mavic 2, and I'm so glad that it's there. And it's gonna come in really useful if you're flying amongst some tree canopies or stuff like that. Now, at the back of the Mavic 2, there are 2 rear obstacle avoidance sensors. These are gonna prevent you from backing into anything as you're flying. Also at the rear, you're gonna see some exhaust vents. Make sure that these are always clear of debris and dust and things like that, because otherwise there's a chance that your Mavic 2 could overheat as you're flying. As we look at the side here, you're gonna see more vents. You're gonna see an intake and exhaust vents. And also you're gonna see the sideways obstacle avoidance sensors. Now, one thing to note with these are only operational during some of the intelligent flight modes, like tripod mode and active tracking. They do not work if you are flying in regular mode, so just remember that. Also on the sides of the Mavic 2 Pro, towards the bottom, you're gonna find some access ports. This port here is for your micro SD card. This port right here is to help you connect your controller to the Mavic 2 Pro if you ever lose connection. And finally, this port right here is a USB Type-C port for connecting to your computer. Now, as we take a look at the bottom of the quad here, you're going to see a lot of cool stuff. First of all, you're going to see the downward sensors, which are used for vision positioning and landing protection, and also an infrared sensor, which is really cool. Finally, you're going to see a couple of LED or fill lights. These are used for added accuracy during precision takeoff, as well as for providing additional visibility in low light conditions. At the front of the drone, you're going to see 2 obstacle avoidance sensors. These things are incredible, you guys. They have saved my Mavic Pro numerous times as I learned how to fly, and they're going to give you guys so much more confidence as you learn how to fly yours. This right here is the gimbal cover or protector. Now this is only to be used for transporting. Do not try to fly with this on. Actually, it won't even let you launch because you're going to get a gimbal overload if you don't remove that before you start your Mavic 2. Finally, when you get that gimbal protector off, you're going to see the most talked about feature of this quad, and that is the Hasselblad sensor camera. This thing is what I've been looking forward to the most, and I can't wait to see the image quality that I get out of it. So next I'm going to show you how to install the propellers. You're going to notice that there are 2 props with rings and 2 without. The props with rings go on these motors right here that have a ring on them, and the ones without go on the other 2 motors, just like this. Ring to ring, no ring to no ring. And so there you have it. There is the Mavic 2 Pro exterior. Next, let's take a look at the controller. Now the controller folds up and the control sticks can be stored inside for ease of sliding into bags and pockets and things like that. To install them, you simply open the bottom arms, pull them out, and screw them into the top of the controller. The power button is right here, and to turn it on, you push it once quickly and then hold it for a couple of seconds until it beeps. On the LCD screen, you're going to see all of the necessary information you need to fly. If you ever lose connection to your mobile device, remember that the controller has everything you need to get back home safely. Now right over here is the return to home button. This is probably the most important button of all on your controller. If you lose connection to your drone for some reason, hold this button down and your $1,500 investment will fly comfortably back into your arms without a scratch. It's a lifesaver, and I'm not overstating that, you guys. It literally could save a life someday. So let's take a look at the top of the controller. On this side, you're gonna find the shutter button for taking photos. So when you push that, it's gonna take a photo. On the other side, you're gonna find the button that will start and stop video recording. Right here are your antennas, and you always wanna have these extended, and most of the time you're gonna have them at about a 45-degree angle. Right here on the left side, the left thumb wheel, that's for controlling your gimbal. That's going to change the pitch of your gimbal up and down. And then on the other side, your right thumb wheel is for adjusting your aperture and your shutter speed. Now I'm going to cover that in a future video. If you go ahead and turn the controller over, you're going to find the C1 button and the C2 button. These are customizable buttons, and you can do a lot of different things with these. Also another thing that I'll cover in a future video. Let's go back to the front of the controller. We already went over the power button and the return to home button, but right down here, this is your pause button. This is for pausing any flight modes at any time. And then on the right side is a 5-directional button. And this is another button that you can customize. And then finally on the right-hand side of the controller, you're going to find some different flight modes. All the way down is tripod mode, in the middle is positioning mode, and then all the way up is sport mode. Most of the time that switch is going to stay in the P mode. Next, I'm going to quickly go over how to charge everything. You want to make sure you charge everything before you fly the first time, you guys. Sometimes you might be tempted. The battery might be charged a little bit, the controller might have some charge to it, and it is very tempting to want to fly right away, but don't. Charge your controller and your battery to 100% before you do anything. All you have to do is simply plug in the charging brick and then plug your battery into that. And then also the charging brick has this cable connected to it that you can connect your controller to. That way you can charge both of them at the same time. Now when I got my Mavic 2 Pro, my controller was at 66% and my battery was completely discharged. I plugged them in and it took about 90 minutes to charge them both. The next thing that you're gonna have to do is download the DJI Go4 app from the Play Store or the App Store, whichever one you use. And it's a pretty big app, so depending on your connection, it can take up to 10 minutes to download. If this is your first DJI product, then you'll need to register an account. You just enter your email and they'll email you a code. You enter that into the app and you are good to go. Next, let's get everything connected. You want to place your phone or your tablet in the controller like so, and connect the supplied cable to the bottom of your device and into the side of the controller. Then turn on your controller first. You should always do the controller first, you guys, and then the Mavic 2 after that, because it's just safer. The chances are pretty slim of anything happening, but you never know if that drone is going to have a mind of its own. So it's always a good idea to have the controller on before you turn on the drone. Once you turn on the controller, the DJI Go 4 app will open automatically. Once the app is open, then you can turn on your drone by pushing the button once, quickly, and then again until you hear that glorious DJI fire up tune. Now it's at this point where the DJI Go 4 app will ask you to activate your drone. It only takes a few seconds and you just have to answer a few questions and then you're good to go. Now it also may ask you to upgrade your firmware. It's probable that when you first get your Mavic 2, as well as every so often, you're going to receive a notification to upgrade your firmware. DJI is constantly making improvements and adding features to the software that is the brains of your drone. Now, firmware updates are always a topic of controversy because sometimes they cause minor issues. But my recommendation is that you should always update the firmware when it asks you to. Because whenever there's been a problem with an update, DJI is pretty good about fixing it quickly. Now, there's a good chance when you try to update your Mavic 2 Pro that you're going to get a very frustrating message that looks like this. If that happens, what you need to do is go ahead and head over to the DJI.com website and download the DJI Assistant for Mavic Pro 2. After you download that, then you can plug your Mavic Pro into your computer with the supplied USB cord and update your Mavic 2 Pro that way. Once you do that, then you can update the controller wirelessly. So this takes a little while. It can take up to 30 minutes. So you need to have a well-charged battery on your controller and your Mavic 2. Once the update is complete, I would recommend charging everything back up to 100%, at least for the first time. Now, once your firmware is up to date, then the first screen you're going to see is going to show you the status of everything on your Mavic 2 Pro. If everything is good, you're not going to see any red. But if something needs to be addressed, it will let you know. Then once you get into the app and the top bar turns green and it says ready to go, then you are set. Now, here's the point where I need to talk to a few of you guys. For those of you who have flown before, feel free to skip ahead about 60 seconds. For the rest of you who will be flying this thing for the very first time, I'm going to give you some advice that I wish I had about 20 months ago. You will be nervous. You just dropped $1,500 or more on the last thing you want to do is for it to come crashing down into the ground or into your house or something else. My first recommendation is to go somewhere very open and clear of any obstacles. Don't come to a place like this with all of these trees. Find like a soccer field or an open park with no trees or anything. Or you could even drive out into the country and pull off to the side of the road if you have to. Just find a place with endless sky. That is the first step to relieving your apprehension. Secondly, have confidence in the fact that you just purchased the smartest consumer quad on the planet. And to crash it would take some extraordinary circumstances. Now, I crashed my Mavic Pro 3 times since I got it. 2 of them were into a tree as I was flying sideways, and 1 was landing in a very confined space. Otherwise, the obstacle avoidance has saved me countless times. And now the Mavic 2 obstacle avoidance is even better. So take it easy, fly high and fly slow, and just get used to the sticks. It's going to take you guys about 5 or even 10 flights for that initial apprehension to dissipate, but I promise it will. And finally, the last thing that you need to do is insert your micro SD card right here, which is a really cool accessible location. Now, one thing you guys, I've used SanDisk cards forever, but now that I'm shooting more in 4K, my cards fill up very fast and they're very expensive. So I did a little bit of research and I found these. It's the Evo from Samsung. So far it's been great. I've had no problems. My image quality looks great and it costs much less than the equivalent SanDisk cards. I'll put a link down in the description for this card if you want to check it out. So after your card is in, you are ready to launch and fly. You can launch one of 2 ways. You can either use the app on your mobile device by pushing right here and then sliding it over, or you can launch by pressing the control sticks down and in. Then to lift off, you press the left stick forward. The left stick controls your elevation and your yaw or rotation, and the right stick controls your horizontal movements, forwards, backwards, and laterally. Now, I'll get into flying more in future videos, but that's just the basics to get you off the ground. So there you have it, the very beginner's guide to getting your Mavic 2 started. Like I said at the start of this video, I'll be showing you guys all of the ins and outs of this spectacular machine over the next year or so. I hope you did get something of value from this video. If you did, please click on the thumbs up button. Also, hit that subscribe button to join this very interactive community. You know, I say that often, but it really is true. I have the best subscribers because the majority of them are very fun to visit with in the comments, and we all learn from each other. And that's what this whole channel is all about, you guys. So I want to sincerely thank you for watching today. And as always, fly safe and fly smart.